Gregory Peck was an American actor and one of the most popular film stars from the 1940s to the 1970s. In 1999, the American Film Institute named Peck the 12th greatest male star of classic Hollywood cinema. Born April 5, 1916, La Jolla, CA. Died June 12, 2003, age 87 years, Los Angeles, California. Spouse, Veronique Passani, M. 1955–2003, Greta Kukkonen, M. 1942–1955. Children, Jonathan Peck, Cecilia Peck, Tony Peck, Stephen Peck, Carrie Paul Peck. Height, 6'2". Grandchildren, Ethan Peck, Zachary Peck, Harper Peck, Marissa Peck, Christopher Peck, Undine Peckval. Gregory Peck net worth $60 million. Early life. Eldred Gregory Peck was born on April 5, 1916, in the neighborhood of La Jolla in San Diego, California, to Bernice May Bunny, née Ayers, 1894–1992, and Gregory Pearl Peck, 1886–1962, a Rochester, New York-born chemist and pharmacist. His father was of English, paternal, and Irish, maternal, heritage, and his mother was of English and Scots ancestry. She converted to her husband's religion, Catholicism, and Peck was raised as a Catholic. Through his Irish-born paternal grandmother Catherine Ashe, 1864–1926, Peck was related to Thomas Ashe, 1885–1917, who participated in the Easter Rising less than 3 weeks after Peck's birth and died while being force-fed during a hunger strike in 1917. Peck's parents divorced when he was 5, and he was brought up by his maternal grandmother, who took him to the movies every week. At the age of 10, he was sent to a Catholic military school, St. John's Military Academy in Los Angeles. While he was a student there, his grandmother died. At 14, he moved back to San Diego to live with his father. He attended San Diego High School and, after graduating in 1934, enrolled for 1 year at San Diego State Teachers College, now known as San Diego State University. While there, he joined the track team, took his first theater and public speaking courses, and pledged the Epsilon Eta fraternity. Peck had ambitions to be a doctor and later transferred to the University of California, Berkeley, as an English major and pre-medical student. Standing 6 feet 3 inches, 1.91 meters, he rode on the university crew. Although his tuition fee was only $26 per year, Peck still struggled to pay and took a job as a hasher, kitchen helper, for the Alpha Gamma Delta sorority in exchange for meals. At Berkeley, Peck's deep, well-modulated voice gained him attention, and after participating in a public speaking course, he decided to try acting. He was encouraged by an acting coach, who saw in him perfect material for university theater, and he became more and more interested in acting. He was recruited by Edwin Dewar, director of the university's Little Theater, and appeared in 5 plays during his senior year, including as Starbuck in Moby Dick. Peck later said about his years at Berkeley that it was a very special experience for me and 3 of the greatest years of my life. It woke me up and made me a human being. In 1996, Peck donated $25,000 to the Berkeley rowing crew in honor of his coach, the renowned Kai Bright. Career 1939–1943, beginnings and stage roles. Peck did not graduate with his friends because he lacked one course. His college friends were concerned for him and wondered how he would get along without his degree. "I have all I need from the university," he told them. Peck dropped the name Eldred and headed to New York City to study at the neighborhood playhouse with the legendary acting teacher Sanford Meisner. He was often broke and sometimes slept in Central Park. He worked at the 1939 World's Fair as a barker, at Rockefeller Center as a tour guide for NBC Television, and at Radio City Music Hall. Before 1940, he dabbled in modeling, and worked in exchange for food at the Barter Theater in Abingdon, Virginia, where he appeared in 5 plays, including Family Portrait and On Earth as It Is. His stage career began in 1941, when he played the secretary in a Katharine Cornell production of George Bernard Shaw's play The Doctor's Dilemma. The play opened in San Francisco just 1 week before the attack on Pearl Harbor. He made his Broadway debut as the lead in Emlyn Williams' The Morning Star in 1942. His second Broadway performance that year was in The Willow and I with Edward Pauley. Peck's acting abilities were in high demand during World War II since he had been exempted from military service because of a back injury suffered while receiving dance and movement lessons from Martha Graham as part of his acting training. 20th Century Fox later claimed he had injured his back while rowing at university, but in Peck's words, in Hollywood, they didn't think a dance class was macho enough, I guess. I've been trying to straighten out that story for years. Peck performed in a total of 50 plays, including 3 short-lived Broadway productions, 4 to 5 road tours, and summer theater. Personal life. In October 1942, Peck married Finnish-American Greta Kukkonen (1911–2008), with whom he had 3 sons: Jonathan (1944–1975), Stephen, born in 1946, and Carrie Paul, born in 1949. They were divorced in December 1955. Peck's eldest son was found dead in his home on June 26, 1975, in what authorities believed was a suicide. During his first marriage, Peck had a brief affair with Spellbound co-star Ingrid Bergman. He confessed the affair to Brad Darroch of People in a 1987 interview, saying, "All I can say is that I had a real love for her, and I think that's where I ought to stop. I was young. She was young. We were involved for weeks in close and intense work." On New Year's Eve in 1955, the day after his divorce was final, Peck married Véronique Passani (1932–2012), a Paris news reporter who had interviewed him in 1952 before he went to Italy to film Roman Holiday. He asked her to lunch 6 months later, and they became inseparable. They had a son, Anthony Peck, born in 1956, and a daughter, Cecilia Peck, born in 1958. The couple remained married until Peck's death. His son Anthony is a former husband of supermodel Cheryl Tiegs. Peck had grandchildren from both marriages. One of his grandsons from his first marriage is actor Ethan Peck. Peck was the owner of thoroughbred steeplechase racehorses. In 1963, Owen Sedge finished 7th in the Grand National. Another of his horses, Different Class, raced in the 1968 Grand National. The horse was favored, but finished 3rd. Peck's hobbies included gardening, reading, and listening to music, including classical, opera, and jazz. Peck and his wife often hosted dinners in support of the arts and humanitarian or social justice causes. Peck was Roman Catholic, and once considered entering the priesthood. Later in his career, a journalist asked Peck if he was a practicing Catholic. Peck answered, "I am a Roman Catholic. Not a fanatic, but I practice enough to keep the franchise. I don't always agree with the Pope. There are issues that concern me, like abortion, contraception, the ordination of women, and others." His second marriage was performed by a justice of the peace, not by a priest, because the church prohibits remarriage if the first spouse is still living and the first marriage was not annulled. Peck was a significant fundraiser for the missionary work of a priest friend of his, Father Albert O'Hara, and served as co-producer of a cassette recording of the New Testament with his son Stephen.